report is before November 6th.
All right. Well, Gerald Celente, thank you so much for spending time with us today. It's been invaluable. I wish you weren't right about these things. I wish I wasn't right, but we're here trying to point this out and get some basic sanity, and hopefully sane people will start getting involved. We can take the levers of control away from the madmen, but we have become very decadent like Rome, no doubt. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for having me on and for all you do. Thank you. There goes Gerald Celente. We are going to come back with Richard Belzer. He has written a book that's published by Skyhorse Publishing and has a foreword written by Jesse Ventura. I haven't read it yet, but I look forward to reading it. Dead Wrong, Straight Facts on the Country's Most Controversial Cover-Ups. Oh, staged shootings blamed on patsies. What are we talking about today? What's Dave Mustaine in trouble for right now? So look forward to having Richard Belzer up on the show after this break. And again, we have an exclusive interview with Dave Mustaine with clarifying his statement about Obama being behind the mass shootings. That will be coming up in the last 10 minutes. But for the next 45 minutes or so, when we come back from break, we are going to be joined by a guest exposing very similar things to what Dave Mustaine's talking about, but dealing with the killings of RFK, JFK, MLK, Marilyn Monroe, and others. It's a powerful book, and in hindsight, the evidence of staged events is extremely clear. We'll be right back. I'm Alex Jones. Our websites, where we're streaming live video of the radio show, is prisonplanet.tv. Don't forget the news websites, the leaders out there, Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com. More straight ahead. Well, I'm very excited about this interview, and hopefully it'll be the first of many. We were just talking to him during the break as he was connecting with us, being video Skype, and I'm excited to hear that Richard Belzer is a listener of the show. And I count him amongst a lot of the great folks that put up with me. Now, he's written a very powerful book. I've only started reading it. I haven't read much of it because I just got it a week or so ago, and I've been very busy. But I look forward to reading the whole thing. It's been put out by Skyhorse Publishing, the same folks that put out Jesse Ventura's excellent books. And by the way, the afterword is written by Jesse Ventura. Dead Wrong, Straight Facts on the Country's Most Controversial Cover-Ups. Oh, where the government would shoot and kill and poison people and blame patsies. Oh, what Dave Mustaine is in so much trouble for. We have that in the last 10 minutes today, that exclusive interview I did during the first hour today. We taped it. It's going to go out in about 40 minutes from now. But we are very honored to have Richard Belzer here on the broadcast with us to run through the book today. Good to have you, buddy. What an iconic individual you are. I'm very flattered to have you with us.
Alex, I'm so happy to be on your show. As my family can tell you, I'm a longtime listener, and your research has thrilled and astounded me for years. I mean, you're the real deal, and I love that the InfoWars hook that you have, because it is information, and I like that you're not encouraging people to take up arms, although we all have the right to bear arms. You're doing great work, Alex. I know you work hard and you're tired and you try to spend time with your family, but you're on a mission, and I understand it. Believe me, I've run into some of the same things that you have run into over the years in terms of censorship and, mysterious things happening. But we're brothers now, Alex, so thank you for having me. Wow, I am blown away because obviously I've enjoyed so many of your films, the big TV shows that you're doing, including the current one. The website is ibelz.com. Is that the best website? iBelz, but Alex, if I may, belzersbook.com, because I want people to really, I feel a civic responsibility. I mean, Jesse very well, and that, both of you guys, I think we're on the same team here. We're disappointed. People say, I hate America. I don't hate America. I'm disappointed in the system. And the reason I wrote this book, I've written novels, Alex, and I've written nonfiction books, but they're put in like the, entertainment section or the comedy section. I purposely did this book as a history book. I used to be a newspaper reporter. David Wayne is a scholar. He's a microanalyst of media events. He has studied for decades how the media, and this is right up your alley, Alex, how the media covers events. And I've covered, and his footnote here, this is another reason I admire you. You back it up. I mean, you back up what you say. You have cited things that I thought I only knew, or, you know, like a Freedom of Information Act, or a speech someone gave, or an old magazine article, or, I mean, thank you for kind of fortifying my research. And I mean, you blow my mind almost every day, man. I mean, and it's just great to be on the show with you.
Oh, Richard, please tell us about your awakening. I mean, I'm sure it's been going on for decades,
well,
and why you decided to write this book. Obviously, for our listeners, you don't really need any introduction, but I mean, this side of you, though. I mean, so people understand.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know, when they exploded John Kennedy's head in broad daylight, I was in college, and it just, that kind of woke me up a little bit. You know, I followed that very closely, and then I kind of went dormant. And then when Watergate happened, Alex, the same names popped up that were in the Bay of Pigs, that were involved in the Kennedy murder. You know, the permanent national security state reared its ugly head. And that was around the time I became friendly with Gore Vidal, who is, rest in peace, who is one of the foremost scholars on what happened to this country when Harry Truman in December of 1947 signed the National Security Act and turned us into this paranoid armed state, spending trillions of dollars on borrowed money against an empire in decline, Russia. But the reason I wrote this current book, Alex, is because a lot of people roll their eyes at me sometimes. I'm sure you've seen that. It happens to you when you say the government kills people, or the government lies, or that there's Psy wars, or that CNN actually had guys coming over from Fort Detrick telling them how to do the news. And I mean, you're into all this stuff. The reason I wrote this book with David Wayne is because, as an FBI agent who we interviewed said, I have no theories, just facts. And as you know, Alex, better than anyone, we don't have to make anything up. The world is scary and fascinating and wonderful in its own right. It's very complex. Most people in their day-to-day life can't read 20 newspapers. You know, they don't have staff. And I mean, you're performing a civic duty. And because I'm an actor, I have a lot of downtime. I've been taking notes for years. And then Skyhorse called me about David Wayne wanting to work with me. And it was, you know, this, and this is not hyperbole, Alex. This book is, if at the risk of being immodest, I'm more proud of this than, I mean, I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, and I'm certainly proud of that. But this book means more to me than I think anything right now during this moment in history, the zeitgeist. And because I'm famous, I can put this book out and people will read it that wouldn't read it if my name wasn't on it. So, you know, I'm using my celebrity to make the electorate informed so they can know how, you know, I mean, they know, but I mean, to get the spineless Congress who has a 10% approval rating, you know, it's Jefferson's idea was that the people, the pyramid has been inverted. Jefferson's idea is that you rule from the bottom up, but somehow the elites have switched it, and the people's voice is gone. You know, as you know, Alex, in the early days, senators, it was a gentlemanly thing. You know, they go back to their homes and they'd come. I mean, it was, even though they were slave owners, and you know, they had some. You know, Jefferson was a genius, and thank God Jefferson came back from France when they were writing the Constitution, because he was inspired by the French Revolution. And when he came back, he said, there's no Bill of Rights. What about people's property? What about the right to bear arms? What about, so, you know, Jefferson saved this country in a way, because Madison and Hamilton thought that people, you know, have to be controlled, and they were very patronizing. And Jefferson, he wasn't elitist, but he understood, you know, I mean, Jeffersonian democracy is a real brilliant, as you know, concept.
He believed in the beautiful power of the yeoman farmer and their families, the people in the dirt, people that really worked for a living. He believed in the general knowledge of the crowd and really disdained the corrupt type of European, arrogant, disconnected elites. And he said the Western elites should learn from the people at the grassroots. Exactly right.
He was a farmer. He was a transcendentalist. He rewrote the Bible and took out all the miracles, because it is, you know, it's a great, inspiring work. I mean, he was a fascinating guy, and it's ironic that, you know, in the Constitution it says all men are created equal, except, you know, Indians are savages and blacks are 2/3 of a person, and women can't own property or vote. But ironically, Alex, his term, freedom, and has been used by blacks, women, and gays. You know, all men are created equal. That came back kind of not to haunt Jefferson, but that term has been used by all these groups, and rightfully so. If I just may say one more quick thing before I get into my book. When Jefferson said, when they wrote The Pursuit of Happiness, that was not a light concept. And the government and the commons, and, you know, we're supposed to share responsibility and share the lands. And I mean, we can develop the land, but certainly there has to be land that everyone can share, like public parks and stuff. But the whole concept of Jeffersonian democracy is that it's not the Hobbesian thing of every man for himself. And he had a fight for that. So anyway, my book is straight facts. And I must say that I thought I knew a lot about these subjects, but David Wayne really took me to school. And I was so flattered that Jesse wrote the afterword, because I'm a big fan of his books and his writing. The thing that's scary about this book, Alex, is I've done a few interviews already, and no one can punch holes in it. And that's why I wrote it, because I'm a comedian, I'm an actor. They can try to marginalize me and call me, you know, the Jew liberal from New York, or, you know, whatever they want to call me. I don't care. My role is to use my celebrity to tell people that not only does the government have its eyes on you, they're looking at you through a telescopic sight. And, you know, you're very much into the technology, like this computer we're on now. Even when it's off, they know where we are. You know, phones. I'm with my friend Chris Walken. We're doing a cooking thing for Funny or Die. And Chris's house, he doesn't have a computer or a cell phone. So dig it, Alex. He's not on any of Google's maps. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Well, you know, I've tried to do that now at...
we can't. You and I can't. We're finished. I mean, we're public now.
Well, that's amazing. I want to get into the book some, because this...
I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
No. Are you kidding? I want to have you back next week for 2 hours if you got the time, sir. We're just flattered to have you here. And, I mean, all the points you're bringing up so many others that I'd like to interject, but I'm the king of interrupting, so I'm kind of just sitting here and shutting up. No, you don't want to invite me to interrupt, Richard. If you do that, it's all over. But continuing here, we're about to go to break. When we come back, I want to look some at the book, because this is a coup d'etat against people and thinkers and ideas that were threatening the power structure. I mean, they assassinated a bunch of people, did it in broad daylight, and tried to cover it up, but they left their tracks. So looking at your book is a roadmap to understand our present and our future. So I want to get into the book that I can't wait to read. In fact, I got it a week and a half ago, been trying to read it. Because, you know, you think you know all this stuff, folks. I started reading it. It reminded me of stuff I'd forgotten, but a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I was looking it up. It's Richard Belzer's new book, Dead Wrong, Straight Facts on the Country's Most Controversial Cover-Ups, available in bookstores everywhere and at InfoWarsShop.com, and also at his websites. We'll give you when we come back. Stay with us. Well, I feel like I should say more cowbell here right now. We have Richard on the line with us. He's the author of Dead Wrong, Richard Belzer, you know, TV, movie star, you name it, author, comedian. And then he said, I'm here at Christopher Walken's house. And he was talking about how he didn't have a bunch of computers and phones spying on him. And suddenly, Christopher Walken is on our Skype video feed. Let's bring him up right now. Oh, my.
I had to drag him out of bed. That's how much he likes me.
Richard and I are cooking.
Yes.
And we're writing a book.
Right. And we're doing a movie called
The Nose
of the River. We're teasing, but we're filming this cooking thing for Funny or Die. So Chris took a picture of my nose, and I took a picture of his nose, and we're going to release that as a short film, and hopefully get an Oscar.
You took a snapshot of my nose, but I took a movie.
A 4-second movie of my nose.
It's going to be great.
People want to know what celebrities do, Alex. We're not that mysterious.
But we also made a chicken.
We made chicken. We made what else?
Sweet potatoes.
He made chicken with sweet potatoes, onion,
cooked
pears,
and the orange seafood melange.
He's a great cook, and I just made the salad.
The orange melange.
Brujol. The orange melange. What's the name of that dish that you made?